And welcome. This is Your City in Action here on Salina Community Access Television. I'm your host, Todd Pittenger, from the Rockingham Media group of radio stations, most notably News Radio 1150 KSAL, where I do the news. I'm the news director. And joining us today, a very special guest. She's been here multiple times. I do the news. She does the animals here in Salina. Animal Services Manager from the Salina Animal Shelter, Vanessa Cowie. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And I've got to say, you are a bit of a rascal. You're a sly one. You had a fundraiser a month and a half, 2 months ago, and you told me, Todd, you ought to come to that fundraiser. And then I saw you the day of the fundraiser. You're on there. You said, you know, you're going to be there. You should be there tonight. Well, little did I know, there is a method to your madness. A huge donation was made at that fundraiser. Absolutely blew me away. Tell me about the $175,000 donation you got from PETCO to the Salina Animal Shelter. When we were there, they had the big check and they hadn't flipped it around yet, and I'm thinking, you know what, they're going to donate like $20, $30, maybe $50,000. When they flipped it around, I about fell over. $175,000. That is huge. Tell me about that.
Wasn't that awesome?
Yes, it was awesome.
It was a hoot. So it was in response to a grant that we had applied for in July last year. And to tell you the truth, I thought we weren't getting anything.
Right. You thought, you know what, you can't win if you don't enter. I'm going to enter, but I have no chance to win, is what you were thinking,
no
right?
stranger to rejection.
Right.
Yeah, you can't be a grant writer
Right.
and have a thin skin. So yeah, we wrote a grant July last year. Actually, I wrote it, I was in Phoenix, and I wrote a grant. Just really wanting some assistance with just some public support, a way that the shelter could strengthen our community with animals before they came into the facility. And the PETCO Foundation is a big supporter of programs like trap, neuter, release, low-cost public spay-neuter, and we have a great veterinarian that we work with, and I thought, you know, this is something Salina can do. And it's a real big city program. And, you know, PETCO Foundation, they think this is a great idea. So it's strengthening our community.
Now, that's not the first donation PETCO has made to you. Tell me about the total sum of what PETCO has done to this point, because this may not be the last donation.
Right. I think we're over 300,000 now. Yeah, since 2015 was the first grant that I successfully received from PETCO Foundation. And it's about life-saving.
Right.
So they call them life-saving impact awards, or investing in life-saving. And they're like any foundation. They want to see a return on their investment.
Yep.
So if they can find a community, you know, that's, oh, we've almost got it, with just a little more funding, we could really make a difference. And sure enough, they support communities like ours because of that, because of the people who live here, the facility we have.
Well, you mentioned life-saving. Some people might not realize it, but yours is a life-saving shelter. You're a no-kill shelter. Tell me about that.
So we're achieving the highest percentage of saved animals than we ever have. We're over 96% now. We're open admission, so we can't turn animals away that we think aren't going to make that. So we really have to invest every little cent we can into the individuals that come through the facility. And we're up to nearly 3,500 animals a year coming through our facility, which is more than we've ever done. And we're saving a higher percentage of them than we ever have. So,
how is this PETCO money, the sum total, the 300,000-ish, how is that going to help you in your mission? What are you going to do with that money?
Well, the exciting thing about this grant is that it comes in installments. So we get a $75,000 installment up first, and the following year we get a $50,000, and the following year we get another $50,000. So what this is saying is that we can promise a program to our public for 3 years. It's not like the money's going to run out in 6 months. You know, we can really guarantee that this is something we can provide long term and make a big difference. So PETCO and the PETCO Foundation have noticed that unless you do it consecutive years, it's really hard to make an impact. So I'm excited that we can invest for 3 years.
Well, I talked to them a little bit at the event, and they told me, and they were being, I believe them, I take them for face value. They said this might not be the last grant that your shelter gets.
They are continued supporters of ours, so I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't receive another generous gift like this. Maybe not for 3 years, because they've kind of promised us some significant funding. But yeah, this is, we received 4 grants prior to this from the PETCO Foundation, so this is a place they want to keep supporting.
Again, this is Vanessa Cowie, Animal Services Manager from the Salina Animal Shelter here on Your City in Action on Community Access TV. Specifically, what are a couple of things you have used this money for? What are some good things it has done that I could tangibly see?
I think the most impactful result of this money is intake reduction. So this is going to be preventing unwanted litters in the public. Trap, neuter, return. PETCO Foundation is buying us new traps. They're helping us advertise and educate our community on what trap neuter return is and how it is a benefit to our community. And today, actually, we're focusing on North 13th Trailer Park. So we've made a big difference there already with using the PETCO Foundation's help. We're also going to be assisting low-income families with getting their pets spayed and neutered, because this is a service they sometimes can't afford. And then those little babies, they usually do end up in the animal shelter. So it's great to help animals that exist, but sometimes helping people prevent unwanted litters is a big help as well. So.
What about those brightly wrapped vehicles that I see going around town? Now, it used to be a little bit inconspicuous, not so much anymore. As a matter of fact, I was driving home from work last night, and I think I saw you riding shotgun in one of those vehicles. Tell me about those vehicles you have now.
So we decided that we really need to rebrand our profession. It's to do with our uniforms, how we even interact with the public, and specifically our vehicles. That's a moving billboard, you know, and we want to be approachable, and we really want to advertise the services that we offer.
One of the first times I ever met you, I said, "Hey, look, it's the dog catcher," and you about bit my head off for that. You're not the dog catcher, are you?
And I don't work at the dog pound.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly the point, though.
Right.
You know, we've been conditioned to view animal control in a certain perspective. In reality, these are very highly trained individuals that just want nothing more than to help people. And so I think there's been a disservice done to animal control. You know, you go back to the old cartoons, you know, even Secret Life of Pets in 2016 negatively portrayed animal control.
Right, and I think back to the old Disney, some of the old Disney ones, the dog catcher with the long net, and then the dogs, you know, trying to hide because they're afraid of the dog catcher.
Yeah.
Those days are long gone, especially here at the Salina Animal Shelter. Tell me, I know you've got a new cat room there. What are some other things you have going on there?
So our new cat room, that was funded by the PETCO Foundation in a previous grant. So we received a $75,000 grant in January 2017, and we invested that into the cat room. But what we realized about our old kennels is that they were maybe contributing to the transfer of disease. So they weren't constructed of the right material that we could clean significantly. So that's where we're at. We have new stainless steel kennels, and we have these amazing wall decals designed by a local company and installed by a local company. And people just walk in and they're kind of like, oh, wow, yeah, this is a fun place to be. That's exactly it. It shouldn't be sad. We don't want you to feel sad when you come in to see us.
All right, before I let you go, we need to wrap things up here. All of these good things that are happening, all of this money that you're getting in now, the new cat room, none of it is any good unless you have people to work there. You have a very small staff. Is it fair to say you could not do what you do without the help of a lot of volunteers in the community?
Yes, and our volunteers are thankless. You know, they come in early, they stay late, they come in on the weekends. They do some pretty undesirable tasks. And a lot of times they're choosing to do that because they know that's where the impact is. And they are the ones that really interact with the pets. So we're not really able to play with them, and the animals really need that. So I would encourage anyone to stop by, even just as a member of the public, and see what we do. Pick up a volunteer application if it's something that interests you. And they can find you on the web, they can find you on social media. I know Friends of the Salina Animal Shelter are a huge organization, a huge help to you. I knew they do several fundraisers each year, and that's where the big check was awarded their big fundraiser of the year. And I know they do dog washes and they do a portrait thing once a year, I think. So they're very active as well. And I would guess that they are an integral part of your day-to-day operation. They do. They source us with all of our volunteers. They provide support to our programs when sometimes we lose funding in certain areas. They're right there. They have aluminum can bins. If you see those around town, remember to put your cans in there. That's a big fundraiser for them. You're helping the environment and you're helping our local pets. Vanessa Cowie, Animal Services Manager from the Salina Animal Shelter, thank you for what you do. Thank you for joining us today. This has been Your City in Action here on Salina Community Access TV.